Lagna Lord in different houses. Okay, so you have a Lagna in the D1. We have not used planets as yet. All that we have learned about is just using uh, the the nakshatras and try to understand the dashas. That is what we have done all these days. From now, for the very first time, we will look at planets. Okay, so what is the result that you will expect with the Lagna Lord of the Rashi chart placed in the Rashi chart in different houses from the Lagna? Also use the dispositor of the Rashi of the Lagna Lord in another house. For example, Cancer is your Lagna, right? Now, let us suppose the Lord of Cancer is Moon, that everybody knows. The Moon is placed, let us suppose, in Pisces. Now, you will read the Moon in the ninth house and also look at where Jupiter is placed and read that as well. In fact, read more about where the Jupiter is placed in this case because it acts like 60% and 40% will come from where the Lagna Lord is placed. Okay, so have an understanding of both of these things, the dispositor of the Lagna Lord and the Lagna Lord placement. Just don't leave it where Lagna Lord is placed. Okay. So on the left side, what I have done is I have written down what are all those things the Lagna will contribute to. And this is the sloka from the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra. And this is an auto translation just to help us around so that we don't stray away from what has to be covered. I will I will explain the content of it. Okay, just I will read out the sloka for sure and also give you what results that you can expect from each of the placement. Okay. So from the body, from the Lagna, what we usually expect is Lagna always shows the body, the appearance, the intelligence of the person, the life theme of the person. So even with this placement of the Lagna Lord, you will be able to understand what is the life theme of the person. Okay, even from here also you can get it. We have done this in Nakshatra. We can do this from here also. You will eventually develop that. Okay, and interests of the person. What is the fundamental interest of the person? What is the kind of frame of mind he will be? Will he be an angry person or will he be a very friendly person? Will he be joking and very jovial or will he be serious? All that things can be understood from Lagna. Or will he be a timid person or will he be a person who is unapproachable or is he a social man or he doesn't want to meet many people? All these things you will be able to understand, right? So after this Lagna Lord in the 12 houses is over, I will also talk about a few things that are described in the Lagna thing, wherein you will see the general good health and general bad health. What are the combinations for one of the twins? And when will a person get into adoption? These are those things that I will talk about. All right. So Parashara says for the first lord or the Lagna lord placed in the Lagna. You can also use this in dashas as well. So if your dasha lord, just let us suppose you are running, pick a planet. You're running Sun Vimshotri Dasha, let us suppose. Pick up your D1 chart, play wherever your sun is, make that as Lagna and try to see how are the planets placed just in case sun wherever sun is placed that becomes the Lagna because right now sun dasha is operative. You can use it in that way also in the D1 chart. Also you can use the same Lagna that you have used in the D1 chart wherever the dasha lord is placed in the Navamsha chart as well and understand some of the Antardasha results as well. Okay, so sometimes the Antardasha results will work like that. The other way around is considering the D9's sun placement in case if sun dasha is running. From there as well, you can see if, how the other planets are placed, considering that place where sun is as the Lagna. Okay, uh, you will get some clarity only when you have ample number of examples in front of you. If you just have one or two examples, then it is too difficult for you to understand. Certain things don't come up everywhere. Okay. So you have to keep changing what works, where you will come to a conclusion. No matter how many horoscopes I will teach you, it won't come. Okay. Because that's the curse of the Yogamaya. You have to learn it for yourself. That is why a lot of people don't teach many of the techniques, because no matter how much ever the astrologer or the teacher teaches, if you don't practice them, they're not going to come, because the next door will not open. Okay, unless you, it's like the video game thing where the first level is complete, that is when the second level comes in, right? That way. So the first lord in the first house, the shloka or the mantra, whatever way you want to call it, Lagni, Lagnage, Deha, Sukha, Bhag, Bhuja Vikrami, Manasvicha, Chapalaschaiva, Dvibharyo, Paragopi Va. Okay, so when the Lagna Lord gets into the Lagna itself, or Lagna Lord placed in the Lagna itself, okay, he has a good, he does not have to do hard work, right? So, will this be a good thing or a bad thing? It will depend on the state of the person, right? If let us suppose he is a guy who is like 65 years of age and he is retired, sitting at home, not much of labor has to be done. If he's in that stage, right? Or he does not need to do the hard work, or he's not able to do hard work, even that can be a reason, right? And but he has enough strength. Bhuja Vikrami, that means Bhuja means the shoulder strength. Vikrami means somebody who is, courageous, right? Manasvi, that means someone who is like who's like the moon thing. Manasvi is moon, wherein, if somebody talks, somebody says, look, I don't have money, what do I do? Then you try to help him, right? That is called as the Manasvi thing, right? Helping people when they are in need is Manasvi, right? Chapalas Chaiva. But Manasvi, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Do not think any of these words that are listed here, Deha Sukha, Bhag means the Bhagya or the fortune, somebody who is fortunate, wherein not enough physical work is being done, but a lot of things are happening for himself. None of these words are positive. None of these words are negative. They imply a result. You have to be careful enough in decoding any of the word. If you think Deha Sukha is a good thing, let us suppose, let God forbid, let this not happen to anyone. Somebody is on a hospital bed, he's not able to move, right? His food comes up to him, right? He has a leg fracture. If the doctor advised him not to move for 21 days, his food will come up to him, his toilet will walk up to him, right? Everything that he needs will walk up to his bed, right? That is a Deha Sukha. So he has got a fractured leg, right? So do you think it's Deha Sukha? No, right? So you have to be careful when you understand any of the slokas. So be careful. Don't think first house placement is a good thing, eighth house placement is a bad thing. It never happens like that. All of the placements are good based on what you are doing. None of the placement is good, none of the placement is bad. Never judge a planet based on placement. This has to be written in golden words, otherwise you will think, why are the rules not working? Okay, if somebody preaches you saying, look, this lord is in the sixth house, this is bad, this lord is in the eighth house, that is bad, then that is an LKG level of understanding. I'm not denying, yes, it is bad, but sometimes it is good to be bad, right? You need for example, you don't have money. If you have to establish yourself, it is important for you have to leave the Deha Sukha, something of the bodily comforts. You have to leave and go out and work. You have to come out of your comfort zone, right? In that case, if your Lagna Lord is very strong, it becomes very difficult for you to compromise, because you will say, look, I need this job, that is when I will go. I cannot compromise and go for something else. But the time is ticking, the clocks run, you have to pay your EMIs. How would you do that, right? So enough of the Upodghata. So ultimately what is important is, do not get carried away by any of these words. Bhuja Vikrami, right? He has enough shoulder strength, right? Or he can be timid as well, depending on the planet, right? Then as Chapalaschaiva Dvibharyo Paragopiva. See, when these texts were written, these are meant mostly for kings. Okay, so Dvibharyo, Paragopiva, and all that stuff is usually for a prosperous king, right? So do not think Lagna Lord being in the Lagna will make you promiscuous or anything of that sort. There is no guarantee for it unless your second lord, your third lord, your dasha, your 11th lord, your seventh lord, all of them are, towards establishing a relationship. See, establishing a relationship will come from 3, 7, 11. All three have to agree that, look, I'm going out of the marriage for a relationship. All three planets have to contribute 3, 7, and 11. And also, the thing is, your second has to contribute. Your first will then act. Just merely having first lord in the first house, it's too difficult for you to establish a relationship unless he becomes the third lord and also he becomes the dasha lord and all that that contributed for the relationship. All right. So this indicates generally prosperity of the person, for being fortunate, everything walks up to him. These are the positive sides of it. And is there a negative side behind it? As I said, is he not able to move? Is he not able to move? And is that the reason everything comes up to him? You have to look for it. I mean, do not stereotype anything. Okay. My sincere request, if you're an astrologer, never stereotype anything. I mean, you look at a planet, oh, first lord being in the first house, this is a good thing. First lord being in the sixth house, this is a bad thing. If you're looking at it like that, then I think you will miss the essence of it. Okay. Please don't do that. Now let's move to the second one. The second house typically contributes for family, money, eyes, speech, two marriages, feeding many, early income. See, first lord, the Lagna lord, placed in the second house, primordially indicates two things. One is the guy is is a self-made man trying to be very rich. Okay. Uh, or he has enough money and he's trying to multiply it. Okay. His father gave him some money and he's trying to multiply it. And at a very tender age, where in the teenagers itself, the person has a very great understanding of the dynamics of money. How can the money be generated? How can the money be multiplied? Usually it comes in the very late 30s. The maturity of the money comes usually for people. That's the time when the Navamsha is maturing. Like at the age of 36 is when the person has a clear understanding of what money will really be useful for. Because most people think I'm still young, I will make more money and things like that, and try to spend a lot, whereas the saving will be very minimal during the 20s or the early 30s. That's the usual state. However, this man or this boy, as a teenager, he matures enough and tries to make money, multiply money. Or if that doesn't happen, and if the person is not born in such a kind of a thing, then what happens is it contributes for having a second marriage, right? Because from the seventh house, this lord is placed in the eighth house. The lord of the Lagna is trying to make eighth relationship from the seventh house, causing the failure of the seventh house, right? So the first marriage can be a problem, right? When the first lord gets into the second house, he has a caliber to feed many. This also implies two things. There is one earning guy in the family, and he has 10 people to feed for whatever reasons. He has 10 people to be fed. Every month the paycheck comes and everything gets vanished because he has more responsibilities. This is a negative thing. However, the positive thing is he has enough money for himself. He pays off all his bills. He gets his children into the best schools available. or best colleges available and also tries to feed many more, right? This can be a positive result. So what I'm trying to break the stereotyping thing is, even the Dhani Yoga can be a bad thing if you are in problems. But how would I know if whether this is the poverty chart or anything? Look at it from many places. Just not having one combination will give you whether the person is rich or not. I have given you combinations for being rich in the previous classes also. You have to apply all of that and then look at this. Okay. So now the person has, good eyesight or foresight, wherein he understands, let's suppose he's a teenager boy, he understands the stock market so well, and he would bet on something that, look, invest on this one. This is going to trend in the next few days and it will trend, right? He has a very good understanding of how that thing works. There is one thing that for sure that you have to look for is the issues for children. See, try to count, look at the fifth house. Fifth house is for children. But how would you say issues for children from the second house? Placement, Lagna Lord being placed in the fifth house. It will be in the 10th house from the fifth house. So what's wrong? You would say 10th house is a very good house. Why does it deter children or why does it harm children? See, from the fifth house, try to see where the general 10th house is placed. From the fifth house, count 6 houses, you get the 10th house from the Lagna. Sixth house is the killer of the fifth house because sixth house becomes the marka of the fifth house. The next house from the fifth house is the marka, right? The killer. So that's why it is said that Lagna Lord in the second house is not a very good placement for children, right? Now let's look at what the mantra has got to do. Lagne dhanage balo labhavan panditaha sukhi susilo dharmavin mani bahudaro gunairyutaha. You can see here bahudaro, that means having many wives, okay, which right now, I mean, in the present context, in today's world, having many wives in would mean somebody who has two multiple marriages, which is not welcome today, right? Susilo, somebody who has a very good Sheila, that means whose character is very good, whose conduct is very good, who has a very good understanding of the dharma, the righteousness. Mani, somebody who is egoistic. Okay, mani would mean two things: self-respect and ego. Both are separated by a thin line. Okay, so this person carries a lot of self-respect on the positive side. On the negative side, he has a lot of ego, right? So this person is extremely able to understand the scriptures very well. He has a scholarly understanding of the scriptures, or the studies are very good, is what you will know from the first lord in the second house. That's why I said you try to teach this kid who has the first lord in the second house. He will understand things very fast. He has a very good grasping, right? All right. So and these people are usually successful in the very first years or very early ages of life itself. They earn a lot of fame for the Lagna Lord in the second house. Okay. Now, how would you decide whether the person will have two marriages or not? It is very simple. If he has a very good Dhani Yoga, that means if he's already established himself by the time he is going into the marriage, and if he has raised like 10 folds than what his other people of his age in the same community or the same family are there, it means that it's fine. Otherwise, this is going to lead into a disaster for the marriage. Okay, this is like the Desha, Kala, Patra, etc. Okay, however, for the marriage, you always have to look at the Navamsha, Rasitulya Navamsha, the Dasha being operative. You cannot leave anything. Okay, if you're saying, look, all that 100 classes that I have read, I'm going to erase off everything and let me feed this one into the brain, then you're doing a big mistake. These are only going to augment whatever you have learned till date. You only have to annex this further, right? Okay, now let's move into the third house. The third house would say, we all know it's about the sahaja, that means the nature of the person. Sahaja, it's called as a sahaja bhava. The third house is called sahaja bhava. That means the nature of the person. Is he courageous? How is he going to handle the problems of his life? If a person is born, it is obvious that he will have some or the other problem. Without problems, people are not born. Okay. You may say that, look, a prime minister or a rich man will not have problems, but no, they have their own set of problems. So, how is he going to handle his problems? Third house will tell you. If your third house is good, I mean, if you look at people like Deepan Shugri, etc., they will keep saying that if your third house is good, even Sanjay Rath sir also will say, if your third house is good, most of your problems are gone because you're courageous enough to handle them, right? So, I mean, there are also Patel Saab who will say, look, why do you need a big third house? I mean, it's good not to have problems, right? Both are there. You have to look at it from both the things. If there is a third house big thing, it means that there are problems and he's trying to fight them. Okay. Then third house will talk about the mind thinking, subconscious mind is what people talk about right now. Third house, a lot of people use this word, subconscious mind. You can say mind thinking, the way in which the process of thinking happens. You can talk about the libido as well if the person is, highly having the libido, etc. Lustful also comes from the third house. How your brothers are doing, how your equals are doing. I mean, who do you consider your equals and where from you draw your motivation so that you are trying to compete in the world. That is your third house. So that's why if your third house is big, it means that you're trying to aim too big in the life. So, do you have to aim big or should you not have any aims in the life? Both are contradicting. I mean, you can have both. Gautam Buddha will say, don't dream at all. Because if you're trying to aim, if you're having a desire, that is the biggest thing that will bring you the pathos, right? Sorrow is because of the aim that you're having. Don't have any desires in life, be a monk, very good. But will that apply to us? In the current society, people will say, look, I should be competing with the best man in the world. Yeah, then you need the best third house, right? So who you think are your equals. And third house will also talk about the short travels that you make across the cities in a country. You live in, let's suppose you live in Delhi. If you're traveling to Bombay, if you're traveling to, Gurgaon, everyday commute like in places like Delhi, it would be like, Gurgaon, Noida, Delhi, they're a little far off, right? You make like 50, 60, 100 kilometer a day if you're traveling, right? Or you go to Manesar and you come back to Noida, let's suppose. I mean, not many people will do that, but if they are doing, so such things, small travel, skills, what are your pastimes, your hobbies, your communication skills? How much are you passionate to achieve your goals? All these things will come from the third house. So do not think third house, sixth house, eighth house, 12th house, these are bad houses. No, these are not bad houses. They are going to give you challenges so that you can rise up in your life. If you're a person who are afraid of everything, then these houses can act badly for you. All that you need is courage, which is the first bad house, that is the third house, where the courage is the important point. If you can fight issues with courage, actually these houses are very rewarding. The 3, 6, 8, 12, these are very rewarding houses. Okay. It's only the result is coming a little differently. That's all. Okay. लग्ने से सहजे जातः सिंहतुल्य पराक्रमी सर्वसंपदयुतो मानी द्विभार्यो मतिमान सुखी. Dvibharyo Matiman Sukhi. So here also Parashara says the first Lord of the Lagna being placed in the first house, second house, third house, all three he is trying to say that there are two marriages, right? One or the other way he kept on saying the same thing, but there is a little subtle difference. That is, you have the Lagna Lord in the second house. That's a little dangerous. This is based on experience, I'm saying. Okay, but you have to always look at the Rashi Tulya Navamsha and also the Navamsha. Both, I mean, you cannot leave any of them. Also add up Dasha to it. Now, Lagna Lord in the third house would can give you affairs. Okay, so it can make you, because see, third house is nothing but the eighth from the eighth house. So this is also a secretive house. So, what a secretive house would mean is you would not want people to know what you're doing in this house. This is what the eighth house is, or the dark house, right? Which where not enough light is going. Right? What does the eighth house represent generally? It represents your private parts, right? You always try to cover up your private parts, and that's the place where most of the sun doesn't go at all anywhere, right? So similarly, third house is also the dark house, right? So the dark house would mean you want to do it in the dark where nobody is looking at. That's your third house. So that's why the hobbies, right? And the kind of things that you search on internet, right? And any of those things that can develop your mind as well. Somebody would be searching on the internet very great things and trying to understand what has to be done. Even that's a very good thing, right? So in case of the first lord being in the third house, don't jump over and says, oh, there is an affair. No, don't do that. Okay. For that to happen, you have to have the third, the seventh, the 11th to be connected in the D1, in the in the Rashi Tulya also. I mean, for example, somebody has a planet in the third house in the D1 chart. That gets into the seventh house in the D9 chart, right? That can bring in an affair possibly, probably, if the dasha comes up. Okay. But that can also give you a lot of increase in money as well. So is it contributing uh, to the affair or not will depend on the lagna. See, the lagna will contribute a lot, because see, there is something called the resistance that you would offer if the affair is coming up, right? That depends on the lagna. So you cannot isolate something and see, oh, there is the planet placed in the third, and planet placed in the seventh in the D9. Oh, don't jump and say, oh, there can be an affair. But if you want to quickly check 3, 7, 11 in the D1, 3, 7, 11 in the D9, 3, 7, 11 in the Rashi Tulya Navamsha, they will give you, um, an affair probably. Okay. So will that affair last or not? Is it going to break, or is it going to see the light? Would everybody know, or would you lose? Would you be embarrassed? Would you feel an embarrassment for it? And all that stuff will depend on the dasha, right? So your 3, 7, 11 houses should be very, very strong for you to have the affairs to start. You just have one planet at some place, and if your Lagna Lord is not doing that, then the affair cannot come up. So when this affair thing is coming, okay, when you know that, okay, there is a planet here, there is a planet there, the 3, 7, 11, the connections have come, what you can quickly check is what the Lagna Lord is saying. If the Lagna Lord says, look, I am in the Lagna, right? Now what he says is Dvibharyo Paragopiva, right? That means para means else's, Gopiva, that means he is going to else's wives, or somebody who is not his, but he is going there, right? So that can add up to it, right? Now the seventh lord is in the second house, right? You add up everything and then come to a conclusion. Oh, seventh and second lords are connected. For the dasha lord is in the third house in the D1. It gets into the seventh house in the D9, and the dasha is also running that. And the lagna lord is in the lagna. That means the person has high libido, right? Or he has an interest to develop another relationship other than the spouse, right? I mean, do not embarrass people when you get to see these things. I often get to see these things, but I do not embarrass them unless they bring them up, saying that as a concern, or if the person is going to face an embarrassment out of it, wherein everything gets connected to Punarvasu, everything gets connected to Uttarashadha. These are dangerous places, right? Because the affair comes to light and you will feel a huge embarrassment for it. So in that case, then I would give an alarm to him. Look, if you have affairs, be careful, you could be caught, etc., etc., etc. Do not embarrass them, or do not think you are a saint and somebody is a sinner. I dislike such things. Okay, if you are a saint, you are a saint for yourself. Be yourself. Don't try to overact or do, I mean, don't look up on, look down, or I mean, do not treat any of these people badly, because a lot of reasons exist for them. All right. So let's move to the other things. Simha Tulya Parakrami. The person has a very good, courage. Okay. It can also mean the person did not show enough courage. Okay. These two things can be there. All right. Either of these things can be there. Sarva Sampadayuto. The person has enough money. The first time he is saying, nowhere he said much about the money, Sarva Sampada, right? So Lagna Lord being in the third house can also bring you money. Okay. So don't think this is a bad house. But the only thing is, you are not going to get money through your general work, right? You're going to get money through your hobby. Let's suppose there is a person like Virat Kohli who plays cricket, right? If his father keeps saying, look, useless fellow, you've got only 60 marks in the mathematics exam. What would you do tomorrow? What happens to him? He would cry all night. He would have become a sportsman only because his third house, right? So, third house will give you those skills which are usually taken up like pastime things at the start, or the skills which are not common amongst people, and later on they become the complete thing, right? This is what the third house will have to offer. Third house will also help the person to pursue hobbies like the ones which we do, like the astrology. And also, third house helps you, safeguard the ego of the person. And the third house will show the nature of the person. Third house can show the person is searching a lot of internet, right? Because third house shows the hand, right? Third house are hands. So the person is doing a craft. Maybe he has some knowledge of the hands, work of the hands, that can do something which nobody else can do, right? All right. Fourth house. The fourth house, the fourth house deals with, what does it deal with? It deals with mother, it deals with home, it deals with property, it deals with country, the country in which you're living or born, etc. That's the motherland, is the fourth house, right? And then the vehicle, comforts, principles, morals, extended family, home city, morals, virtues, and adoption. If you have to be adopted, your fourth house has to be destroyed along with the second house. We will talk about it at the end, and what combinations you can have, the adoption thing. We'll talk about it in length. So, Lagne se Sukhage Balaha Pitru Matru Sukhanvitaha Bahu Bhratruyutaha. It should be Bhra, okay? It should be Bahu Bhratrayutaha. Okay. Even here, it should have this line where it says Bhatru, no, Bhratru. Bhratruyutaha Kami Guna Rupa Samanvitaha. So the person having first lord in the fourth house, the first thing that he writes is Pitru Matra Sukhanvitaha. The person gets the love of the parents, or he may not get the love of the parents. Okay, this is what you have to understand. So if the Maharshi is writing the positive side of it, if you have benefits, the positives will come. If you have the negatives, the malefics, the negatives will come. So how do you decide the malefics or the benefics? Depending on what are you looking at, you have to understand what is a benefic and what is a malefic. Now you have the mother. The mother is represented by the moon. Look at those planets which say that I do not like moon. The first planet of that sort is Mercury. Mercury says, I do not like the moon. I like almost everyone. I do not like the moon. And the next I do not like is the Jupiter. These are the two people I do not like. Right? That's why I stand like the Badhaka for the Jupiter. And I also stand like the enemy of the moon, right? Moon is, I do not like moon. So having the fourth Mercury in the fourth house is not a very good placement for the well-being of the mother. But you don't jump up in the air and say, oh, you've got a fourth house Mercury, your mother is going to die. If this is the way you're trying to predict things, then only God can help you. You can't be predicting like this. Having a planet in a place cannot ensure anything. It can only give you a hint. A hint will be a trigger. So you have, when you see fourth house Mercury, you have to have an understanding of, okay, there is a fourth house Mercury. What is it affecting? There must be something that is affecting him. So did he leave his place? Did he leave his mother? Did his mother not live? Or is his mother suffering from a lot of diseases? Or did he leave his country? Right? Or did he not have any vehicle all through his life? These can be any of those things that can be affected, right? Similarly, Venus doesn't like the moon. Rahu doesn't like the moon. And you have to think of those things. What are the natural karakas for each of them? If you're putting father also here, what is father naturally? The sun. Sun is disliked by Rahu, sun is disliked by Ketu, sun is disliked by Venus, right? But this is the fourth house. As much as this applies for the mother, you still have another house for father. Father can be saved from the ninth house also, but mother has only one house, right? The other house for mother is the seventh house, fourth from the fourth, right? Father still has the ninth house because fourth house shows your general comfort and how was your childhood. Your childhood will depend on how your father was earning. If your father was earning well and if you could put you into good school and if he was not a drunkard or if he was not having any bad habits, he would raise you well. This is the usual statement, right? And similarly, if your mother was having a good character, she would feed you with good food, etc., etc. You will play with your cousins or the neighbors that you have, and your upbringing will happen. So fourth house can show how you were being raised. It is not just the mother. It can show your childhood also. Because in the childhood, when you go to the school, there is this subject called the moral science or something the school will teach you, wherein, stealing is bad, sinning is bad, doing good things is good. And they make an imprint on our brains wherein we keep thinking this is right and this is wrong for all the rest of our life. And how good was your education will tell you how good your fourth house is, or how good your childhood was. If your childhood was full of troubles, you had so many problems in your life during the childhood, then your fourth lord dispositor will be in a bad position, right? Or the fourth lord himself will be in a bad position, right? So these are those things that you can look for, but that will not conclude the thing. If the fourth lord in the 12th house or fourth lord in the 8th house can give you a break in the education or can give you a foreign education, or your mother is not well, you don't know what it is. How would you determine? It is just the D1 chart. Okay, you cannot jump and say, oh my God, this is gone, that is gone. Just looking at the D1 chart, you will not understand anything, most of the things. Use the divisional charts, use the nakshatras. But why are we learning in that case? But if you know these things, it will add up the spice to it. You will be certain now that if you have seen the nakshatra, if you have seen that divisional chart, and now you learn this, now you'll be almost clear. Is it affecting the mother? Is it affecting the vehicle or is it something else? You will know, right? Or is he leaving the motherland and going to the America, right? Which is a good thing, which is considered a good thing these days, right? So all these things can be possible. If there are people who are watching for the first time my channel, etc., what happens is a lot of people must have given you 100 scenarios when the Lagna Lord gets into the fourth house. I'm not describing any of them because all of my students know very good and have a very good understanding of the nakshatras. They use them and then they will augment them with this. Now they are at a juncture where they are very clear. Okay, this is affecting the mother. This is going into an adoption. This is going into something else. This is what I'm trying to teach now. Okay, so be a little patient. I know. I know people will still keep jumping. Ah, I've got fourth lord here, fourth lord there. I didn't face that. I didn't face this. If you're not using nakshatras and try to use only the D1 chart and try to see the positions, if it was so easy, People could have done a simple software and said, look, this is how your life is going to be, right? It cannot be so easy. So please grow up and try to understand the position from all the aspects. Look at it from the fifth house now. Lagna Lord goes into the fifth house. So the fifth house represents the children, followers, lover, power. How much power will you enjoy? Stock market, smart working. Because fifth house is a smart person. Servitude, right? Because the Raja would actually is a sevaka of the people. If you are looking at a king, why is he there? The king is there to serve the people. Okay. Usually, even in the olden days, also people used to say, "Who are you? I'm the sevaka of the. I'm the servant of my people. I'm the king." Right. So let's look at what the mantra is. Lagne sutage janto suta saukhyacha suta saukhyecha madhyamam. Right. Pradhamapatya nashyaha syan mani krodhi nripriyaha. So when you have the first lord in the fifth house, okay, when the first lord is in the fifth house, it is not a very good placement for the children. Okay. The reason is the first lord is selfish, right? It's ruled by the sperm or the Venus. In fact, the first Lord has every signification. All the nine planets signify, or all the nine planets will make the first Lord. The Lagna is made by all the nine planets. All of them will try to give its energy. That's why Sun gets exalted in the first house. Mars gives you the body. Moon gives you the mind. Venus gives you the sperm. I don't have to say all this, right? You know everything. So all those planets will make up the Lagna. Now, of that, the moment it goes into the fifth house, the five houses, it's ruled by sun. The fifth house is ruled by sun. And the Venus says, look, I am against the sun. I am against the sun. I'm the sperm, but I'm against the sun. So I would say the child is not good. Okay. So the first lord being in the fifth house can delay the progeny or can have problems with having children, or the children are born but they did not study well, or they're not able to get married, or they're not getting good jobs, or they have got everything but they're living in the US and I am living here, so I'm very, very worried about my children. All of these are a possibility, right? So there is some or the other lacking in the person's mind with respect to children. This is what you will know for sure. What is that thing lacking? He would be very, if you ask him, confront him and say, "Sir, is there something that you think you're not happy with the children thing?" He would say, "There's nothing as such. Okay, my children are all settled in the UK and the US. I live here in the Goa." Right? He's not looking at his children every day. Right? He's not like us. Right? That's the thing. Or he lost his first child maybe 60 years ago, which he does not even remember. Right? So he would say, look, yeah, I lost my child. My first child lived for 4 years or 5 years. I lost him. I don't remember now. So I'm very happy with the aspect of the children. So you have to be careful, right? So these are those results for the fifth house, wherein the other thing what I want to emphasize upon is the person is angry, right? The person is short tempered, right? Why angry and short tempered is because it is Venus who's angry, which is hot, Sun, which is also hot. The fifth house is hot, and it's the Venus going there, or the Sun going there, or the Mars going there. All of these are very, very hot, right? So hot planets getting into hot things. So the person is hot or short tempered, right? Moderate happiness from children. I mean, the other way of looking at it is he has enough self-respect. He's not going to do cheap things, right? So the other thing is he's a smart man. Okay, this is an important thing. Smart man doesn't mean a good thing sometimes. I'll give you the analogy for it. Smart man means a person who is not using his arms and legs to do something. He's only using his brain. Okay. So there are certain things wherein, let us suppose if you have to serve your parents, you don't need brain for it. All that you need is your hands and your manas, right? Oh, Papa, would you need this tablet? So he would say, yes. Then you have to have your arms working, pick up the tablet, get him some water so that he can have the tablet, right? So I'm just trying to describe what hands can do and what the brain can do. So never ever say smart thing is good, hard work is bad. Both people will need. At places where you need hard work, there you need hard work. At places you need smart work, there you need smart work. And the other thing is Purva Punya. The fifth house is the Purva Punya, which you have got into this life, and you are trying to spend from it, right? So the person is going to get a lot of comforts, luxuries, etc. If he is getting, it depends on the whole chart. Just not merely having Lagna Lord fifth house. Oh, you get all the riches. Please don't jump. Okay, always keep this in mind. Now, if the Purva Punya is going off, right, he is going to enjoy the credit of the Purva Punya and he is going to spend everything or he is going to spend it. So what is happening? All the riches are coming, but he is thinking, I am doing everything. That's why I'm getting all the riches. I'm trying very well. That's why I'm getting all that. There's nothing called Purva Punya, next Janma, and all that. No, nothing exists. It's me. I have studied so well. I have done everything. It is my hard work which is paying off. All this is crap. So don't try to teach me. Okay, this is what the person may think. If he is in that kind of a frame of mindset, which is not a very healthy thing. Okay, love relationships is what will drive the person. Right, the person is looking at. I mean, his lifestyle or life theme will have some or the other thing about the life, love or relationships, etc. Right? And the creativity of the person. The person is extremely creative. Okay. These are those things that you will have with the Lagna Lord getting into the fifth house. Now, Lagna Lord gets into the sixth house. This is a bad placement. Oh no, nothing like that. Okay. I will never say any placement is neither bad nor good. Okay. If you're born in a poor family, you need a Lagna Lord in the sixth house. Why? Because what will pay? Your hard work will pay for you because you are living in a poor family. You are born in an Ambani family. Your father has enough money which will last for generations. Your Lagna Lord is in the first house or fourth house. Doesn't matter because you have the comforts, right? First Lord in the first house, first Lord in the fourth house. The person will try to enjoy what is available for him. But if the first lord, fourth house, if the person leaves the comforts and tries to work, look at this man, this Elon Musk, right? His father was a rich man. He gave him enough money. He started a business with all that money, and that's why he's so big today. If had I had such a kind of a father, I would have said, let me not do anything. Be happy with what my father gave. Maybe start a small business that yields me enough money for my living. That's it, right? But no, this man did not do that. He came out of his comfort zone and did a lot of things, right? So it depends on that. So you have the Lagna Lord in the sixth house. The first thing is you will have the reason to go out and work. You can get motivated very easily because you have enough problems in your life so that you can go out and work because there are problems, so I have to work. I cannot give up work. This is a very good thing. Why do you think it's a bad thing? Okay, so disease, roga, rina, shatru is what a lot of people say. You can say disease, debts, and enemies. These are the three things actually the person can stand up and say, look, my enemy, let us suppose, is Elon Musk. What would I do? Right? You would try to compete with him. So you have to grow as much as he is in the paper, right? On the paper, Elon Musk is a big billionaire. If I have to compete with him, I must be so much. So I have to compete, right? That's the sixth house. So your enemies will decide how much you will grow. It's a very important house. Don't think it's a bad house. Do not stereotype this. Sometimes sixth house is needed. Debts. You are starting a big business where the banks are funding you with 30 lakh crore rupees. Okay. A person can commit a suicide. You will get to see in the papers very often. 20,000 rupees, the person has a debt as a farmer in a remote place. He could not pay the debt off and he committed a suicide, right? And there is another person on the other side of the page. You flip the page, you will find that this man has got 35 lakh crore rupees of a loan so as to execute a project, right? It's just a single person who could not handle 20,000. And the same man, one more man, it's just the same man made up of all those five elements. And he could handle a 30 lakh crore rupees of loan, right? So sixth house can make you such big man where you can handle a lot of issues. Your sixth house is very, very important, right? So disease, okay, disease is anyway, it's a bad thing for anyone to have. I will never say there is any right good thing about disease. I don't think there is anything good about disease, but first lord in the sixth house cannot ensure that there is a disease for sure. Okay, most of the times what happens, let me tell you the secret. The secret is everything looks very all right in the thing, and you don't know what is wrong, but the person is actually suffering. If you have seen enough horoscopes by now, for sure at least 25% of them must have given you this challenge. Everything looks very normal, but why is this person suffering? Right? You don't know. The reason is this, because the first lord in the sixth house will not ensure that, yes, for sure there is a disease. Disease can be a possibility, right? Sixth house will give you a lot of hard work. Sixth house will ensure that there is a routine. It could be a routine wherein, the guy drinks every day in the evening from 5 to 11 p.m. Okay, it's a routine as well, right? So bad habits, discipline. Discipline is not having bad habits. Donations, person is trying to, give donations. Easy going to the gym. Okay, some people are very regular to the gyms, etc. Right? So Lagneshe Shashtage Jatam Deha Saukhya Vivarjitaha Papadhyah Shatrutaha Pida Saumya Drushta Vivarjitaha. When Lagna Lord gets into, I'm trying to give you the translation for this. When Lagna Lord gets into the sixth house, devoid of any benefic association or aspect, okay, when Lagna Lord gets into the sixth house without any benefic influence, that is when there are more problems. Is what this the meaning of this sloka is. Deha Saukhya Vivarjitaha. That means the person is actually doing a lot of hard work. In the time of Parashara, this is considered a bad thing. The reason is the horoscopes or the Jatakas are written only for kings. It is not meant for ordinary people. Ordinary people did not have Lagna at all. The concept of Lagna existed only for kings. That is why you you only had the nakshatra till now. Till 20 years ago, people, when we were playing, right, when we go to somebody else's house, and if we were playing with the kids, like we were playing caroms or something, the uncle, the kid's father will walk up to us and ask my father what's his nakshatra, just for sake of understanding how am I, etc. Right? They never used to ask Lagna, but most of the results will come from Lagna. We know that, right? So Lagna has been very prominent thing only for the kings. It is not meant for ordinary people. So the king is doing hard work. What does it mean? He lost his kingdom. That is when he will be doing a hard work. You're born pretty in a damn house where you don't have proper thing to eat. It is very good thing because you have to you do hard work and you go back and establish your kingdom. It's a very good thing to have, right? So why are you bothered about a kingly thing? Oh my God, Lagna Lord in the sixth house. It can also say, even if you're a kingly person born in the sixth house, you're going to help everyone with your donation. You're going to feed a lot of people. Why do you think it's a bad house? There's nothing called bad house, good house. Even now, a lot of people send messages in the YouTube asking, "Sir, my Lagna Lord is here, my second Lord is there, my third Lord is there. Is it good or bad?" I actually feel pity for them, because no matter where your Lagna Lord is, where your second Lord is, all 12 Lords, wherever they are, all of them will give you some good, all of them will give you some bad. No planet will give you full good, no planet will give you full bad. It's impossible like that. You cannot have. Okay. So, I mean, I keep repeating my sentences. Don't take me wrong, because I have to keep emphasizing this because a lot of people forget these things. Okay. So even now, even in the class, a lot of people will still ask, "Sir, is this good? Is this good thing to have?" There's nothing called good thing to have, bad thing to have. I cannot generalize like that. Okay. So the person may be facing a lot of politics around him and he could be a scapegoat in it. Person likes to help a lot of people, wants to offer his services, right? So Lagna Lord in the sixth house, the good thing that can happen is you are a doctor and you are offering your services. You are an astrologer, you are offering your services for the benefit of the people. You want to get all the people out of it. You are a lawyer, you want to offer your services and get people out of it. Okay. This is also a servitude, right? You are actually doing good to the people. Sixth house can also show pets. It can show servants, bad habits, morals, right? Because from the fourth house, this is the third house. Even if you have very good morals, but for them to be implemented, you need the initiation. So initiation of the morals is also from the sixth house. Principles, being helpful. I think I wrote helpful for like 4 times or 5 times. I'm trying to only emphasize that helpful is one of those keywords, being helpful to people. Job, service, servitude, 11th hour work, delay in doing things. Person wants to delay and do a lot of things at the very last moment of time. All right. Now you see, my sincere thing to all of you is these are to be used after you have established the nakshatra theme, after you have understood what the Navamsha is doing and everything. That is when you will apply. But this will not be a trigger, or this will not be something that you will conclude with or start and say, oh, okay, Lagna Lord in the sixth house, oh, this is gone or this is good. Never do that. You will fail miserably. Okay, because only 12 houses exist, and if you try to do the permutations and combinations with the 9 planets, try to establish how many combinations can you make. Not many. Okay, so if there are only so many people, no, right? You have billions of people. That's why you have to use every combination possible. All right, seventh house, everyone knows this. Seventh house shows about marriage, partnerships, sexuality, partners, acting, right? Sacrifices, foreign travels, influencer, actor, performer, people pleaser, crowd puller, celebrity status, and public appearance. First lord being in the seventh house, he's a kind of a people pleaser. Okay. Or he is so careful about his image in the public. So let us suppose there is a politician or an actor where just by his mere presence or his showing up is going to pull the crowd. Okay. And a journalist got a video of him in compromised situations, and if he threats him with that video, he's going to get billions of dollars. Why? The clip could be like 5-second video of or 10-second video where he's visible clearly and he's trying to do what he's doing. Then he would be very, very worried, right? You know why? Because he's worried about his seventh house. Look, I am a people pleaser, right? My personality is going to please the people. And there are other people who would think, I don't care what the other people are thinking. I'm going to live the way I am living. So the seventh house is destroyed, right? It does not necessarily mean that, the seventh house doesn't show just the wife. It is going to show how you are acting in front of the world, how you are portraying in front of the world. See, you be in your home, right? Everybody would be wearing what you want to wear at your home, be in your easy clothes. When you try to go to a wedding, or when you want to meet your friend or go to his house, would you go in the same clothes that you're wearing at your home? No, right? You would definitely try to act a little differently, or you would try to be a little more formal in front of people. It is more and more important when you are an actor or a politician where you have some public image, right? So the person is a people pleaser. If I'm Indira Gandhi, my Lagna Lord Moon is in the seventh house. I'm a people pleaser, or I'm afraid of what people will think of me. Both are the same things. Both are the same. If you know, both are the same. If you're an ordinary person, what happens with Lagna Lord in the seventh house is you're very afraid, what will my friend think of me if I'm trying to say no to him? So let me not say no to him. Let me go and do what he is asking. Okay, this is the Lagna Lord in the seventh house. This is a good thing or a bad thing? The situation will say. Your friend said, I remember a very good incident. My friend, I mean, my sense, the native's friend said, okay, let's go out today and drive a car in an unknown terrain where we have not been there. Let us go. Anyway, we are living in this city, so it's the final day of the college, so let's go out at 2 p.m. Okay. These boys too went out in the car, unknown terrain, road work was happening. There was no proper lighting, very, very obvious in India. They met with an accident and the boy could not get up for a month's time. So when we confronted him and asked him what happened, he said, "Look, my friend asked, he proposed, and I didn't want to, say no to him. That's why I had to go." Although I thought this is not the right time to go, it's pretty dark already. It's 2 at night. And the road, I don't know. Somebody told me also the road is not that great. But we still did go because my friend requested me to go. Right? So these are those things. Lagneshe saptame pape bharya tasya najivati. Okay. Shubhetane pravasi va virakto nrupopi va. So I'm assuming you're trying to read these things. I mean, I'm not giving every explanation here. Anyway, it's an English class, and all the meaning is written here. Please read this as well at the bottom. I mean, while you're playing the video, please read the meaning as well that I gave here. So, Lagneshe Saptame Pape Bharya Tasya na Jivati. Now, if the Lagna Lord placed in the seventh house and if he is a malefic or has malefic associations, it means that the spouse is not going to live. This is what Parashara meant. Now, what does it mean is, I mean, so the moment, let's suppose you have an Aries Lagna and the Mars is placed in the seventh house. Now people will jump and say, oh, this means that the wife is going to die. Not necessarily. Okay. How do you ensure wife death, etc., and all that stuff? You have to definitely see the Navamsha. Okay. Rashi Tulya Navamsha plays a biggest role. Then the Navamsha plays the role. Then the Dasha plays the role. All three have to act upon. Merely having the Lagna Lord in the seventh house will not kill the wife. However, this will add up to the fuel. If there is fuel already and if it's on fire, this will add more fuel to it. Okay. So this is another additional point that you can make after having observed everything. Now, so most of the time, what happens? Anyway, we have picked up that example where the Lagna Lord is Mars and Mars is in the seventh house. What it can mean is the couple got married, the person got married, they lived a very happy life together for about 30 years or 35 years. The wife died, but the man died maybe 25, 30 years later, right? So they had a very good life for 40 years. It's not a bad married life. 40 years or 35 years of marriage is a big time to have get married and live together, right? So I mean, don't conclude it from there. It can mean that the person is outliving the spouse, right? Subhetane pravasiva virakto nrupopiva. So in olden days, it was considered very bad to actually leave your place and go elsewhere. First Lord in the seventh house, Parashara would say it's a bad placement. And at the end, he also said nrupopiva. That means he is going to be a king. If a king leaves a place, goes to another kingdom, what happens? He becomes another king there, right? Most of the time, kings go, and they try to occupy the next territory, right? So they are at war, and he's going to become a king there, right? So subhetane pravasiva virakto nrupopiva. Subha etane means somebody who is traveling. In today's world, I would say Lagna Lord in the seventh house, biggest possibility is you leave your place, you go to another place, most likely. Pravasi means the same thing. I think everybody knows Hindi here, Telugu here. It's all the same word. Pravasi is somebody who's born in India but who lives abroad, right? So Virakto means somebody who is, fed up with the life and He thought that the world is nothing. This is all Maya, illusion, and all that. This is Virakto. What does it mean is the person can go a monk. We wouldn't want to marry, etc. But seldom I get to see Virakto. What I can say is person has Lagna Lord in the seventh house. He would be a very good philosopher. He has a very good understanding of what the Vedanta is or the philosophy of life is. Okay, he has a very good understanding of how to lead a life. Okay, and the good thing with them is they are people pleasers. Okay, so sometimes people will be, most people will be happy with these people because they accommodate the larger crowd and they try to please and they try to act based upon what the opposite person is looking at. Eighth house. Eighth house, see again, Lagna Lord in the eighth house. Usually, people will say it's a bad placement, but I would say again, conditions apply for anything. Good placement, bad placement, conditions apply depending on what the person is actually doing. If the person is an astrologer, Lagna Lord in the eighth house, this man is trying to bring out those techniques, those mantras, those slokas, or those vidyas that did not exist before or that were not so very popular before, okay, that were not unearthed the way they have to be before, right? Or the person is in a research, right? He's trying to invent something, discover something. The eighth house is the way to go because it's in the darkness. He's trying to bring it to the light. Lagna is light and eighth house is the darkness. So the Lagna Lord is the light is going into the darkness. What happens? So the darkness gets the light, right? So he is trying to give light to the eighth house. Now, eighth house can also mean spending of energy solving the eighth house problem. That means because the Lagna Lord is the energy that yourself, you are going there. So you are trying to solve your eighth house. What is your eighth house? Eighth house can be long-term diseases that your body is fighting and your lagna or your energy is being spent there, right? Life is constantly under transformation. You're dying and you are transforming. I'll give you a couple of examples. A person is a big drunkard, okay? He keeps why he wakes up in the morning is only to drink. Okay, maybe he's born in a good family. He could be a, I don't know, I mean, let's take an example of a Brahmin, wherein a traditional religious Brahmin, but somehow he got addiction thing and he fell into bad habits, etc. Right? So a person who learnt Vedas and everything transformed into a drunkard, and at some point in time, maybe 10, 15 years down the line, while he was drinking, he met someone, and then again he felt that all this is nonsense. He dropped everything, became a saint once again. Okay, so look, so the person was born, died, then reborn, then died, and then reborn. See how many times he was born and re-dying in a single life, right? So it's like a sea change or a complete, 180-degree shift is the eighth house. This can be possible. I mean, it's not just about the drinking habit, which I said. It can be due to anything. You have to look at what the eighth house, what the Lagna is all about, what the Lagna Lord is saying, what are the other houses Lagna Lord is owning. See, Lagna Lord, let us suppose he is Mercury. Mercury will rule two houses, right? If he is the Lagna Lord, he will rule the fourth house or he will rule the 10th house. So Lagna 10th Lord gets into 8th house. What does it mean? At the office, he is doing a research, right? He is a research at the office, or he is trying to bring in a light to a lot of people. 10th house is also the public, right? 4th house, 10th house relationship is the public. If you look at this man, PBR Narasimha Rao's horoscope, it will be like the Virgo Lagna, first Lord, 10th Lord in the 8th house, right? The moment you will see, oh, 8th house, bad house, oh, no, no, gone. PBR Narasimha Rao is respected across all the world now, right? His software is the only software available free to download. He gave it away just like that, right? So is he not doing good? I think he's doing pretty well. Okay. So deaths. So the person has deaths in the life. Okay. He must be dealing with deaths of people, must be dealing with troubles. Actually, this person walks up to the troubles of the people. He's going into darkness. Who would want to go into darkness? Why would anybody want to go into a very narrow lane? Because eighth house is the narrowest lane, right? You look at the lanes, right, in the body as well. Where the private parts are, there the lane is so narrow, right? So the other thing is eighth house can give you detachment because it's the end, right? At the end of life, what people will think, nothing much. People will say, "Look, this is what I have done. I could have done more." Or even if I had done well, why did I do all this and all that, right? So there is a sense of detachment at the end of life. So that thing happens right from the start. Astrology, insurance, very high intensity, overthinking things, secretive, interest in thriller movies. Somebody who's a director, he does only thriller movies. Okay, so Lagna Lord in the eighth house. Okay, so problems and solutions, long-term problems, long-term solutions. Overconfident because this man has seen so many problems in his life, he's ready and up for everything, and sometimes he's so overconfident that he may miss the bus, or he gets into the wrong bus and tries to address a problem. That's why I keep saying, even my Lagna Lord is in the eighth house. That's why I keep saying, don't jump guns, don't be fast. Try to be as calm as possible. The moment you see one combination, don't jump in the air, don't try to be overconfident, etc. I keep advising all of you only because of that. So I did all those mistakes. Please don't do such things. You need advisors because Lagna Lord in the eighth house, the person is overconfident of some business doesn't work. He knows it may not work, but he will still invest in it, right? Very good researcher. Huge amount of fear because see, if when you're traveling through darkness and you don't know where you're going, obviously fear is a factor, right? And lot of mystery. Will you be successful or not? Nobody knows, right? These are that kind of paths where the eighth house is very narrow. Only one by one can go. Eighth house can talk about inheritance, issues with inheritance or very good inheritance. Both can be possible. Or the person keeps thinking continuously about, is the insurance money enough? Or should I have to keep investing more into the insurance? What if I die suddenly tomorrow? Does my kids have enough money in the bank? Okay, and all that stuff. Eighth house can also talk about unearned money, the money that you have not earned, in the sense what you have not worked and that is coming to you. What is it? Inheritance. Somebody else is giving you as a donation, right? Or some bank is coming up to you and says, look, this is the money, please do the business. All these are eighth house, right? Now look at the mantra. Lagneshe Ashtamage Jataha Siddha Vidya Visharadaha. The person has such kind of a knowledge on the occult. He is an expert over it. That is the possibility. Okay. So, I mean, again, I will never say, okay, Lagna Lord 8th house. So definitely he has Siddha Vidya. No, not every time. You need good planets for it. You need good positions for it. You need support for it. You have to look at the dispositor also, right? If everything shows up to there, and if the tradition is there, if you look at the D10 as well, everything points up there, then Siddha Vidya is possible, or something like astrology, like we do, is also possible. Rogi choro mahakrodhi dyutasaktaha paradaragaha. Okay. So rogi, that means somebody who is deceased. Choraha, that means who is a thief. Right? What does thief has got to do with an astrologer? I'll give you, or a researcher. They are very good at understanding the meaning, right? Astrologers or researchers, you show them something, they will try to fetch the inner meaning out of it, right? That is why it is called choraha, right? Mahakrodhi, somebody who is extremely egoistic, or chid chid sa rehna. What is the right word for it? Chid chid sa rehna. Somebody help me with the thing. Getting irritated very easily. Somebody who can be worked up very easily. Okay, that is Mahakrodhi. Okay, who gets irritated very easily. Dyuta asaktaha, who's a gambler. So doesn't mean that he's playing cards at a Las Vegas club. No, it's not a gambler. Gambler is somebody who is trying to put all the eggs into one basket and say, look, this will work. Okay. Most times there is a failure, but once there is a win, that's a big win. Okay. That's about the eighth house. Ninth house, Lagna Lord in the ninth house. So, Lagna Lord in the ninth house can show the person is getting into new traditions, or the person is very stuck to the old traditions that the family has been following, or the family or the father has left the traditions, or the person has left the traditions. I mean, you get to see people getting converted into another religion, people getting knowledge of different religions, right? Respecting every religion, accommodating every religion, or doesn't respect any religion and thinks his religion is the only thing, right? Or he has a big karma that has to be done for his father, right? There is something that is connected to the ninth house. His life theme gets into the ninth house, right? Now, ninth house carries traditions, family, rituals, name, going abroad, father, marriage. The event of marriage is also from the ninth house, right? Because dharma patni is what we will say, right? Dharma patni is the wife. So it comes from the ninth house. Fortunate due to efforts, somebody is working, and that's why there is fortune, right? There is spirituality, religion, traditions, and gurus. All these can be possible. Lagne se bhagyage jato bhagyavan janavallabha vishnu bhaktaha patur vagmi putra dara dhanairyutaha. Somebody who has the first lord in the ninth house will have children, will have a spouse, will have money at his disposal to spend. He will have a good fortune. He will keep working so that his fortune works for him. He's not a lazy man. He keeps working because he wants to make fortune, right? You know why it is there? Because the Mercury rules the third house, Jupiter rules the ninth house. Planet placed in the ninth house watches the third house. So third house is the effort and ninth house is the bhagya. There is an effort and that's why there is bhagya. If there is no effort, the bhagya will never rise. If an astrologer is saying, sir, you please go home, don't do anything for the next 10 years, sleep, and 10 years after you wake up, you are going to get $100 billion into your account. Please leave that astrologer right away. It will never work like that. No astrologer should advise any of his client like that. The purpose of astrology is to advise which way the person has to go so that money making is a little easier with all the available combinations and the skills. So let us suppose he says, look, I have these three skills. Then you try to understand, okay, what are those skills that will fit for him in the D10 and the D9 and the D1. Try to advise him based on that and try to tell him, look, see, your work should be away from your birthplace, or you keep your family along with you, or you pick up a traveling job. These are the kind of suggestions that you can make, but never say, sir, please don't do anything for the next 10 years. After 10 years, you wake up suddenly, you get $10 billion. I cannot say from where is it coming. It's a useless prediction. You're making the person lazy, and 99.99% the chances of failure are there, right? See, Vishnu Bhaktaha would mean, I mean, it's the religion thing. So Vishnu Bhakta does not, I mean, don't translate it straight away saying, okay, Vishnu Bhakta means he will become a Bhakta of Vishnu. No, it's about the religion. He emphasizes on religion and traditions, etc. Vishnu Bhakti would mean traditions, right? So Patur Vagmi, somebody who is a very good speaker, orator, his language is good, etc. And Putra Dara Dhanayiryutaha, I've already told you, who has children. Putra means children, and don't think it is a son. Putra means children. Dara means the spouse. Dara means the money. Yutaha. Okay, so he has money, and spouse and children, right? So, I mean, you can also say that this is the focus of the person. This is the life theme of the person. Okay. Another important house, Lagna Lord in the 10th house. Oh my God, it is a very super combination. None of the combinations are great. None of the combinations are bad. Each of them have a good thing. Each of them have a bad thing. Now let us see Lagna Lord in the 10th house. Profession. 10th house deals with profession and hard work. It is in trines to the 6th house. 10th house naturally is ruled by Saturn. If you are ready for hard work, Lagna Lord in the 10th house, it's a Kendra, I don't deny. It will not be as hard as a work for the sixth placement, because in the sixth placement, what happens is the situations are not very great for the person. The person is, entangled with a lot of responsibilities. He has so many things all coming at once. He is trying to fight most of them because he has put his bar very high, right? In case of 10th house, what happens is the bar will not depend on the 10th house. It will depend on the 6th house. What is your 6th house doing? How big is your bar? Have you raised it too high? Will depend on your 6th house. Now, Lagna Lord is in the 10th house. If you are working hard, using it as the trine from the 6th house, because 6th house is the hard work, making it as a trine from the 6th house will make you work hard. If you are using it as a Kendra from the 4th house and not working hard, you are going to have bad results. Okay. What has to be ensured if your Lagna Lord goes to the 10th house? Absolutely hard work is the only way to go. If you have your Lagna Lord in the 10th house, don't go to any astrologer. All that you need to do is simple hard work. You cannot have your 4th house strong. You have to leave your 4th house, come to 10th house, do hard work, establish yourself, go forward, because 10th house is such a good house to have your Lagna Lord. All that you need to do is, if the 6th house, Lagna Lord in the 6th house person, let us suppose, does X work, X quantity of work to achieve something, you just do X by 2, you will still achieve the same goal because you have lower, you are little more fortunate than the guy who is got the Lagna Lord in the 6th house. I'm assuming both of them to be middle class people. Now, I'm not comparing one Indira Gandhi and one myself. No, I'm comparing both of them to be born at the same place, same Desha, Kala, Patra. Everything is the same. I'm assuming everything to be same. Okay. So in that case, Lagna Lord 10th house, you need hard work to be done. But most times what happens, Lagna Lord 10th house, the person doesn't know what to do, where to do the work, because I'm looking at little smarter work, because 10th Lord, the 10th house is the place where the sun gets the direction and the strength. And Saturn is an old man, right? Saturn doesn't like to work too much. Right? These are those things that will deter the person, keep saying, look, should I have to do so much of hard work and why should I be doing? Right? Because see, the sixth house is ruled by the Jupiter, is ruled by the Mercury. Mercury is a kid, 17-year-old kid. He would be ready to do hard work, right? And Saturn is like a 60-year-old man. If you ask him to do 8-hour work, that itself is very difficult for him. So Lagneshe Dashame Jatam Pitru Saukhya Samanvitaha Nrupamanyo Jane Khyataha Swarjitasvo Nasamsayaha. So highlight this word, Swarjitasvo Nasamshayaha. Swarjita means Swa Arjita. Arjita means earning something, Swa means self. He is a person who has to earn for himself. Okay, that's why 10th house is called as Rajya Bhava in the south. A lot of people don't call it as Dasham. Mera Lagan Lord Dasham mein hai. Ye koi nahi bolta. Everybody says Mera Lagan Lord Rajya mein hai. Okay, this is a usual word that we use in the South India to say my Lagna Lord is in the 10th house. What does it mean is Rajya means what? The person is at work, right? He's at the darbar. He's at the sabha where the work is happening. So Swarjita, right? Swarjita means earning by self. So this man is a self-made man. You cannot say, look, my father is going to give me so much. Okay. So Lagneshe Dashame Jatam Pitru Saukhya Samanvitaha. Now you have to be careful whenever these words come, right? Like Pitru Saukhya Samanvitaha. I'm highlighting here in case. Okay, it's here. Pitru Saukhya Samanvitaha, when this kind of words appear wherever you get to see, at the fourth house also we saw that. So there you have to be careful. It means, what actually it means is Putru Saukhya Samanvitaha means he will get the love of the father. This is the translation. However, there can be denial as well. The love of the father is lost, right? Father doesn't love him anymore. Even that can be possible. When is it possible? Depending on the combinations the thing is making. I'll give you an example. A person has a Lagna Lord, the Lagna is Capricorn, the Lagna Lord is in the 10th house, exalted. Okay, but there is the 8th Lord Sun along with it. Okay, so the person thinks that the father doesn't love him because every every combination or every lagna has a the yoga bhanga planet. I would call it as a yoga bhanga planet. Every lagna has it. Mercurian lagnas, the yoga bhanga guy is the Mars, especially those who are the planets which are papa grahas. What are papa grahas? Saturn, Mars, Sun. Okay, Sun is also Papa Graha, not completely Papa, but he's still Krura, right? These are the three planets, especially Papa Grahas. When Papa Grahas become the Yoga Bhanga Karkas and they get into those houses where the yoga is happening, okay, so that can be a bigger Yoga Bhanga for him. They are very powerful because see, 10th house Sun and 10th house Saturn. First thing that you have to look at is look at the directional strength. Directional strength is extremely important. If you are thinking, oh, Saturn is exalted, Sun is debilitated, so Saturn is strong. No, Saturn is not strong. It is the Sun strong because your Lagna is in the Capricorn. Lagna is the fastest thing that will move. By generic principles, Sun is lot stronger, right? Because Lagna is more important. From the Lagna, who is more stronger? Sun is more stronger. So the eighth lord is actually stronger than the Lagna lord. So the person is not doing hard work. He's a lazy man. He's put up weight like 120 kgs, right? He's just a kid, like 40 to 43 years of age. He has so many life problems, doesn't work well, okay, is fighting poverty and all that, right? So there is also a big host of planets that you have there. Saturn, Venus, Mercury, Sun. All four planets are there. The moment you see that horoscope, right, you will think that, oh, this man must be a great man. He would be doing everything in this world. Yes, that could have been possible had that Sun not been there. Okay, in the first place. And anyway, you have to see the D10, etc., 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 D9, everything. That's why my fear to explain any such thing is, right, you will erase all those 120 classes that I've told you, and you will jump now in the air and say, sir, will that do? Will that do? Will this do? Please don't ask such silly questions. Okay, I dislike such questions. Okay, Nrupamanyo, somebody who is praised by the king. Okay, Jane Khyataha. See, 10th house receives the biggest light. That is why Parashara said, you have a planet in the 10th house, then only you look at the chart. If a person does not have a planet in the 10th house, there is no purpose of life for him. He is not working anywhere. See, so 10th house, the person has a purpose in life. So if there is a purpose, then that is why he is working. Okay, this is a very deep meaning thing wherein his purpose of life is very clear to him right from the day one. Easy going towards it or not going towards it will depend on your D10, right? It's not going to come from the D1. But your purpose of life will come from your D1. What your first lord is doing, if your first lord is in the 10th house, your purpose of life is very clear to you. Only that you're not able to realize is because you're still in the Moha Maya, right? So Jane Khyataha, that means who is getting a good lot of name. Khyata means name. It can be good name, bad name, depending on combinations that you have. That's why I keep saying once again, do not stereotype anything. But having Lagna Lord in the 10th house is an excellent placement. Only rarely people have it. If you can make use of it, nothing like it, right? The person is highly money minded. He will make a lot of money. The only thing is he has to put that effort into the in the life. That's all. Lagna Lord in the 10th house, it's not very good for children. Now you will be surprised once again if you did not hear this before. Lagna Lord in the 10th house, I told you very clearly. Now, once again, I'll repeat you. It is not very good for children. You know why? Count it from the 5th house. From the 5th house, 10th house will be in the 6th house. 5th house, the killer is the 6th house. So anybody who has Lagna Lord in the 10th house will struggle for children. Either he may not have children, or he gets children after a very big delay, or the children are not with him. Children has some or the other issue, health issues, education issue, marriage issue, some or the other issue he has with the children, right? Actually, every of the position will have some or the other effect from the other house. The other way of looking at is, look at your Lagna Lord, see from where is it in the 8th, 6th houses. From where is it in the 8th and the 6th house? Okay, the Lagna Lord has issues of that, or he is fighting that, right? If your Lagna Lord is at a place, see from where is it in the 8th house, from where is it in the 6th house. The Lagna Lord is actually, or you are fighting that actually. You are trying to achieve that, or you're trying to fight that. You think that that is not available for me. I have to achieve it. It is not there with me. I have to achieve that. This is what your Lagna Lord will tell you by and large. या फिर आई मीन पीपल विल थिंक मेरे को ये अवेलेबल नहीं है, मेरे पास ये उपलब्ध नहीं है, मेरे को ये पाना है, मुझे कैसे भी ये पाना है. हाउ डू आई गेट टू दैट इज व्हाट इज योर एथ थिंग, or rather from where is the Lagna Lord in the 8th and from where the Lagna Lord is in the 6th. Okay, if you're looking at it in the another way. 11th house talks about friends, siblings, helping out of box. This is an important house. This is also a sexual house. Okay. 11th house is a sexual house because it is in trines from the 7th house and the 3rd house. 3, 7, 11 are the Kama Trikonas. So, and also 11th house is the face value. Just person stands up. Like I said, Lagna Lord in the 7th house, it's just the face value. He tries to save his face. He doesn't want his face to be disfigured, or, I mean, what does it mean? Face getting disfigured means losing respect in front of people. Lagna Lord in the 11th house, he would do anything to safeguard his respect. He will never try to leave it. He would have a lot of self-respect for him. He will do anything to save his, क्या बोलते हैं उसको यार, the self-respect thing, right? I don't know what is the best word. If you have one, please let me know. वो जो खानदान में रहता है ना कि अमिताभ बच्चन जो बोलता है, what is that in that? कभी खुशी गम में बोलता है ना वो कि खानदानी जो चीज रहता है, right? Royal people will have it. In Telugu we call it paruvu. What is that for?
सम्मान प्रतिष्ठा.
What is that in English? Samman, Pratishtha. Yeah, correct. Thank you. What is that in English? That thing. So,
हाँ.
is what is it?
honor.
Honor. Thank you. Honor. Yeah, that's the right one. I keep forgetting simple words. Thank you. Lagneshe labhage jatam sada labha samanvitaha. Okay. Lagneshe labhage jatam sada labha samanvitaha susilaha khyata kirtischa bahudara gunairyutaha. Right? Again, he said bahudara here. So this can be a sexual house. So will this start a relationship or not? As I said in the previous, in the 3rd house and the 7th house, look at those combinations and then understand if this can start a relationship or not. But usually it depends on the dispositor. It depends on number of planets that you have in the 3, 7, 11. In case of D1, in case of D9, both. If many planets are in the 3, 7, 11, possibilities of having affairs are high. So one has to be a little more careful, right? Whether they will see the light or will they face the embarrassment or not will depend on the dasha and the Rashi chakra or the things like I've already told you all this in this previous thing. Susilaha, somebody who has a very good character, right? Khyati, that means somebody who has a very good name. Kirti would also the same thing. It can be good name, bad name, but there is a name, right? Kirti is also the same thing. Sushila, I've already told you. Labha samanvitaha. This person is focused more on benefits. If I'm talking to a guy, is it going to help me? Or is it going to help him? If I'm doing something, who is it going to help? Will it help me? Or at least will it help him? Okay, if it is helping him, let me do it. I will be happy to do because I want to help people, right? So that's a good thing. It gives gains, benefits either to first person, myself, or to the second person, himself, or at least the third person to the whole world, right? The person is focused on helping people somehow. He's very interested in helping people. Why? Because it's the sixth from the sixth house, also the 12th from the 12th house. So it can give you disease, it can give you it can give you sexual attractions, it can give you an attitude to help a lot of people. All these are possible. Okay. 12th house, Lagna Lord going into the 12th house. Again, a lot of people think this is a bad position. Not necessarily for those people who are living in this world, current world. 12th house is a house to go abroad. Okay. Okay. Anyway, Trump has put a lot of restrictions on people. So if people want to return, that's a different case. But usually, if we talk to two people and one guy says, "Look, my boy is working in the U.S." and other says, "My boy is working in I don't know, maybe in Pune." So the boy who is working in the US has a bigger respect in the community because he lives in the US, right? So 12th house can help going to a foreign country. 12th house actually makes the person a lot uncomfortable. Lagna Lord placed in the 12th house will mean the person is actually uncomfortable. You know why? Because you have to come out of your comfort zone. Let us suppose you're living in the US. Look at a person who is like 25, 26 years of age, went to do the masters, or maybe he's got the first job and working there. As long as he is here in India, his mother would help him with all the household chores, and he has the least thing to do, right? Most of the kids of today's world do not even pick up their clothes from the washing machine, right? If they live in India. But if they live in the US, it's completely different there. They have to help themselves. They have to do everything there. They have to come out of their comfort zone, help themselves, do all the household thing, and then try to go to the office or the college that they are studying or working, right? So all those things are going to make the person feel a lot uncomfortable. That's the first thing. There are too many losses initially because they're working on a larger goal. They're trying to establish themselves from the scratch at a distant place where the culture is different, where they don't understand what the whole culture, tradition, and things like that, new people, new language, everything is new for them. It looks like very dark, right? So this is all about the 12th house. Initially, it looks like a very uncomfortable thing, very unfortunate thing, etc. But if they get used to it, and if they stay focused there at the 12th house, then there is benefits. So it takes a little time for the person to establish before coming out of the uncomfort, before coming out of the discomfort that he is facing. Lagnesho Vyaya Bhavaste Deha Saukhya Vivarjitaha. That's what it is saying. So the shloka says the person who has 12th, the first lord in the 12th house will have not much of the comfort of the body. That means he has to work hard. Vyardha Vyayi. Vyartha Vyayi means, Vyartha means waste, Vyayi means expense. Anything that as an expenditure goes like a waste. Most times, Lagna Lord in the 12th house there are unnecessary expenditures. They spend something and they will realize, oh, there is no need for actually spending this because the institution doesn't need this anymore. The certification is not needed. Unnecessarily, I did that. I lost like 1 lakh rupees. I could have saved it, right? This is, people try to do, early things early, and that's why they get stuck sometimes like that also. Because in the sixth house, there is a delay in doing things. In the 12th house, they'll try to do things faster, even before they realize what has to be done. And that's why there is this problem. Mahakrodhi, again, person is lot getting irritated very easily. Okay. चिड़ सा रहना, चिढ़ जाएगा, कुछ भी बोलेंगे चिढ़ जाएगा, getting irritated very easily. Subha Vyaya Yoga Vivarjite. That means if there are no benefic planets in the 12th house, right, then there is this more problem, right? If there are good planets like the Venus, Jupiter, etc., and they get into the 12th house as a Lagna Lord, that also can be a good thing. Okay. So this concludes the 12 houses. There are a few things which I want to talk about that the Parashara has mentioned at the end of the first, first house thing.